Even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Shit. No chance two people work together on this?
Based on the rules that have been made, even if more than one, only the one
So
who
I guess I
the rule
need...
holds true.
The only thing I can think to
But that
do
only
is...
really in this case, however, there were two murders.
Oh, come on, Kyoko. Don't talk so quick.
Based on the rules, even
Don't
if
talk
more
so
than
quick,
one,
babe. I
only
need
the
to-
one who
I need to
actually-
memorize that.
assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really applies
Yeah.
if there's one.
Yeah.
In this case, however, there were two murders.
There we go. Now I do this and then go
Based
around
on the
another
rules,
time.
Even if more than one person is complete, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true.
Yes. 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 Whew. Man, how long is this case gonna
Since
take?
there were two murders,
Jesus.
it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. Why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
And the debates up till now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Yup. Gotta be Celeste. Fucking gotta be, right?
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit brain, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
The screaming, the paper hidden in Fume. Countering, yep. Well, this one as well. Encountering the suspicious individual. The screaming? I could be either of these. I'm not sure which one. Encountering the suspicious individual. It's not really behavior though. That's behavior is the screaming, right? Did anyone else scream? Shit, I think I'm gonna. It could be either one. This is horseshit. They're talking about behavior, then it should mean screaming, but
I got it! The behavior
Okay, I
they
got
have
it.
in common has to
Shit.
do with the suspicious individual in the suit. Does it? The only ones who
Oops.
ever actually saw
Close enough, though.
Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow, yeah? Yep.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said? Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Yep.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead, Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room.
She said guys, so I guess she shouldn't have known that Taka was dead as well. But you could have also interpreted that to mean that she was talking about Mondo and Chihiro and Junko and Sayaka. Those guys is who she meant, but I don't know.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
What is he alluding to? Oh. I guess. I gotta do this again? Ugh. Monokuma file? What?
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And
Yeah.
that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh shit, how... God damn. Shit. Should only known about Hifumi's death. Yeah, I know that, but how do I translate that
All
into
I said was,
flashbacks and shit?
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around,
What?
frightened and confused. They must
Us?
be
Like what?
positively elated.
This is the bullet I'm
We
supposed
are
to use?
all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys
Us,
died.
those guys. I mean,
And that is all I said.
like this could be...
All it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it?
Am I
What
supposed
was
to
so
shoot
strange
those
about
guys?
Celeste's comment?
Shit. Maybe I need to select...
All I
So
said,
strange.
They must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We
gonna
are
try-
all going to. We are going to die.
Eh.
And that is.
And that's all it takes to... What was so strange
Come on,
about Celeste's
give me this.
comment?
I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna shoot those guys. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
Really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to. We are going to die.
Eh.
Just like.
Yes!
No,
Yes!
wrong.
I got it. I guessed. I guessed correctly. Ugh.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Oh,
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took?
it was
How
a
do you
forgery.
explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
Yep.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations. Yep. Fumi and the suspect had been drinking. If Fumi and the suspect are dancing, Hifumi is dragging the suspect away. I guess this one? Duh. Yeah?
I got it!
Yeah.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Jesus. Thinks she can prove there's no way Fumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Well, shit. The music's changed. Robo Justice costume has Suhiro's message. Robo Justice blueprints. Ah, shit. I'm gonna fuck this up.
Me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that. Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
You have to stand up straight though, because the costume doesn't let you bend. Right? Said that it couldn't bend at the waist, so I gotta use the costume.
Me up in that suit, then you just draped it. You tried to make me look
Like I said,
Yep.
as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit, there's no way they could stand up straight.
There we go.
No,
I got it.
wrong.
Whew. I'm keeping my health alive. I'm slowly building my health back up.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Yup.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh, look at her face.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Oh shit.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
This voice actress is doing an amazing job. Where she like changes her, unless these are like two different people, but it's pretty awesome.
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
What?
confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
Gave everyone nicknames, said people's last names. Oh. Duh. Probably this one? I wasn't really paying attention, but I think it's probably this
I
one.
got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, he his first name indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal, but he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
But Celeste isn't her real name, is it?
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit!